Hello.
I'm here. You're here.
We're
all here.
We're here. Hands up if you're not here. No. Okay. Right. Excuse me. I'm not being rude. I am. I'm trying to sort stuff out. You know, you have it all set up on your phone, ready to go, and then you press the wrong button.
I go old school. Write it down on a piece of paper.
I do that as well, but I've just got so much info. It's just. Anyway, we're set. We're sorted. We're there.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, Mr. Norris, who came in a bit early. Oh, I came a bit early, Mrs. Oh, suits you, sir.
Oh, as you do.
Dalglish. Hello. How are we? Everyone's very muggy tonight, isn't it, guys? Even Nath.
He's awful. All right, Nath, how you doing, mate?
Nath, tell me, is it Nathan or is it just Nath? What do you prefer? Nath. Just so I don't. Nath. Great. I like the ring to that. I like the ring to that.
Nath.
Right.
His name could be John or something. It could be John. Right. Just like everyone calls me Nath. I answer to anything myself, mate.
Don't tell anyone, but although here's a little secret. Although it's got a Q in my name, on my birth certificate, my passport and all that is K.
I did one. You just like to be a bit windswept and interesting. Is that what it was, mate?
My friend Julie suggested it when we were 18 and trying to be cool. And I said, that's silly. And I tried it. And here I am many years later, and it's still there. So, yeah, it wasn't a pretentious thing. It was just, well, you know, when you're young. When you're young, I still am young. Native Evia. Okay, sounds like if I'm in trouble if I use the full name. Nathan, what have you done? Yeah. So,
yeah, I've been Gaz for years. Gaz or Gal? What, Gal?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the Green Man. Oh, hello, evening, Green Man.
Good evening, Green Man.
A lot of people like Green Man. Who are you? You know. Let's just test what we're. I'm going to test we're live on all platforms. I love saying that. We're testing we're live on platforms. Yeah, it's definitely live on YouTube. 5 watching, that'll go up. And we are on Fastbook. Yep, Fastbook as well. Yep, real groovy. Real groovy.
Well, thanks for joining us all. I'm sure we'll get a trickle into the chat room as we go. Cheers all. I have my Ribena.
I have water and I just finished a black coffee, so
my Ribena keeps me awake. It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. I used to love that as a kid, but far too much sugar. Far too much sugar.
Lovely stuff. It's got a weird spelling, this Ribena. Something Shiraz or something like that, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway.
Shiraz. Oh, right.
Shiraz. Okay. Shiraz in a pint glass.
So hold on. Shiraz is red wine, so you've really got wine.
No.
Is that wine? Oh, right, okay. So I'm a bit slow on the uptake there.
I'm trying to be refined. I actually put it in a glass rather than swigging it from the bottle this time. So progress that.
Everyone.
So
classy guys.
Exactly. Pint glass for wine. Why not?
So this evening we're going to sort of discuss a little bit on NDEs, near-death experiences, which is a fascinating subject. Lots of really. Gav suggested this actually, and I thought, oh yeah, it's something I've looked into a lot recently. And especially on YouTube, reading people's accounts, people who are, might be atheists, and suddenly they come back. Not that it means they're suddenly going to be religious, but they have a different perspective on life.
Yeah.
So we'll have a look into that.
It just suddenly occurred to me, Mark, that throughout all the shows I've done, whether it be guests on other shows or all the shows we did for UKPM Radio, which seemed like hundreds, we never touched on this subject. And it's a really contentious subject. And through the research I've been doing, you go right down the rabbit hole with it. It can open up so many questions, like religious, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think it's something we need to discuss, definitely.
Yeah, I think so. Good evening, Tyler. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it's a fascinating subject. And so I meant to pop these up on the thingy. 14 watching, that's pretty good. So yeah, we're going to try and do something we do, which was just a couple of, is doing paranormal news of the week. I haven't got any paranormal news of the week, but Gaz apparently has.
I've got a few. Well, courtesy of Nath, 2 of them on his site, Uprising. which if you're serious about the subject of the paranormal, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, Nath, I'm just plugging your site.
It's a bloody good site. Really, Nate, can I say, I agree with Val. You're putting some really interesting stuff on there. Really interesting.
It's not just the content that I like about his site, Mark. It's the fact, I mean, there's a few UFO pages out there that if you post something, they take the piss out of you royally, and it gets a lot of name calling, it gets personal. Well, Nath and his admin team don't put up with any of that. It's for people that have got a serious interest in it, and everybody's entitled to an opinion, you know.
Yeah.
So you can post away without fear of ridicule and all that sort of stuff. It's a lovely, relaxed atmosphere. And it's like one strike and you're out sort of stuff. Yeah. You know, you don't take the piss out of people.
I've never understood that. I mean,
Rick, it's Uprising. Sorry, Mark, it's on Facebook and it's Uprising, but it's all in capitals with dots in between the letters. So have a look at it, and it's really cool, actually. Sorry, Mark, go on. I'm just going to try and find the Uprising, find the thing and do paste a link. Bear me 1 second. Yeah, I say in all the years I've been all the years I've been doing this, I've never really had any negativity. Really, I mean, there we go. Let's just post that. Oh, there we go. You know, never had any trolls. Well, I did have a mental ex-girlfriend, but that's something else. It was we all
in the paranormal field. But yeah, we never had any trolls. I think we were just honest. We weren't interested in that kind of thing. We got on pretty much with everyone. And if we thought people twats, we didn't bother.
The big UFO sites that have got thousands upon thousands, you're always going to get idiots on there, you know, and it just turns, they go in there and take the piss just for the sake of starting an argument. And Nath's site is more personal. It's you know, there's not thousands upon thousands of people that are just there, just eating popcorn. You know, the people that are on the site contribute and start debate, start discussions, and it's all, you know, just because you disagree with something don't mean it starts an argument. You know, you have a debate about it in a grown-up manner, which
unless it's about orbs.
Yeah, I'm not talking about orbs on your site, Nath. It just
can't go
down well, mate. So orbs or flat Earth, we stay away from.
You got flat earthers all around the globe.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I can't steer clear from that. But the news I've got 3 items of news, and like I say, 2 of them were courtesy of Uprising. Bear with me, because technology and me does not mix, even though I used to do all the techie stuff on the events when I first started out. But the first one I want to do is it was a case that goes back, a paranormal case that goes back over 100 years, where a family, and I think they were quite a well-to-do family because servants are mentioned in the actual storyline, their house burnt down and they had trouble finding somewhere. So they eventually found this big old house on a side of the street that they thought, oh, it looks lovely and warm there. The sun's going to shine in on these certain days. It's going to be a place that we can call home in the interim while their house was getting rebuilt. Well, they moved in initially without their children because the boiler was broken. So this old furnace, 100-year-old furnace, you know, back in the day, I don't know how it worked, but, you know, so they moved in and like weird sounds and things, which you can put down to in a big old house. You're going to get noises that you're not used to. And if it's particularly spooky looking place, your mind's going to run away with you, you know. So they got somebody in to repair the furnace, and they got their kids moved in with them. Well, shortly after this happened, they all started feeling unwell. There were sounds at night, pots and pans clattering, headaches. They couldn't believe it. You know, they were all suffering from these really bad headaches that no matter what they did, they couldn't shift it. And then the apparitions started to appear. The whole family started seeing these apparitions. Well, a psychologist and an ophthalmologist actually got involved in the case, and they looked into it. And you know what they found? Carbon monoxide poisoning.
I've heard this before. This can happen.
The furnace hadn't been repaired properly, and it was actually slowly poisoning the family. And they actually said, if your children had stayed here one more night, chances are they wouldn't have woke up in the morning. So they were all being
Bloody
poisoned.
hell.
So which can cause hallucinations, headaches, all that sort of stuff. So something to think about, you know, if stuff is kicking off in your house, don't call the Ghostbusters. Call the gas board first and foremost.
Actually, don't call any ghost investigation team ever. Please, wrong people. They're not psychologists.
But yeah, that's an interesting. I didn't actually realise that. I knew it caused headaches and things like that, and illness, but hallucinations, that kind of thing. So
yeah, I never knew that. Yeah,
yeah. That goes back 100 years. That case, and that's way back then. They actually got involved and found out they were being slowly poisoned. So yeah, that's an interesting one.
Wow.
So right, another one I found. Talk amongst yourselves just for a second. Right, here we go. This one's actually in the Sun tabloid newspaper, so it must be true.
It must be true then. Yeah.
It's always good for a laugh, the old Sun, isn't it? Time traveler claims giant 7-foot aliens will land on Earth in May 2022, leading to interdimensional war with the US. There's a headline for you that will sell a newspaper. A self-proclaimed time traveler has widely predicted that 7-foot aliens will land on Earth in May 2022. TikTok user @FutureTimeTraveler also claims that their arrival will lead to an interdimensional war with the US. This group of aliens are called Neurons and come in peace and don't mean harm, but the US attack them and begin the first of many interdimensional wars. The text in the video widely claims aliens will make their first appearance on Earth next year. The exact date they are first sighted is the 24th of May, 2022. Put that in your diary. Big day, that one. From my time, there are many different aliens and they actually live on Earth as citizens in the future. The time traveler claims the mythical creatures are called Neurons and come in peace. According to his predictions, the US will attack the aliens, starting an interdimensional war. This post has been shared more than 90,000 times. What are we doing wrong?
Oh, man.
And has more than 2,300 likes. Yes. One TikTok user posted extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. So there you go. We're all going to be at war with the Neurons.
That's what they said. Brilliant. If they're at war with the US, they could just send the demons to fight the aliens.
Job done. Job done. Totally.
Oh, flipping it. You can't make this up.
Well, that one made me chuckle a little bit. So anyway, the 24th of May.
It's the detail that gets me. It's the absolute detail that they know exactly what's going to happen. Well, about 10 years ago, we were at Avebury.
Yeah.
And we had the same kind of thing. We had this Neo Druid and all his little followers, about 6 of them. Really, I found personally really creepy guys, really creepy people. And me and my friend Rob, we're getting the show hopefully soon. We're doing some crop circles, and some dowsing experiments. And he came on. He goes going about, so 2012 when Sirius, we're going to be beamed to Sirius. We're going to be beamed to Sirius. I went, okay, all right, just ignored it all. And obviously, 2012 came and went. Nothing happened, which I didn't expect it to either. It's just, that one of the creepiest people I've ever met. That was. He was just weird.
Beamed to Sirius.
Yeah.
That's a star.
Well, the aliens are going to come and collect them and take them to Sirius. Yeah, to a star. Sirius. Well, there's a good point. Sirius is a star.
Yeah.
So how'd that work?
Well, it's the brightest star in the sky, isn't it? Sirius.
Yeah. So
you cannot be serious.
You cannot be serious. Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, I know the feeling, Rick. I know the feeling, Rick. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So anyway, that one made me chuckle. Right, now another one. I've got to find this now. So that's the haunted house one. That's that one. And this one, are ghosts real? Here are 5 rational theories around supernatural sightings. Now, this one is on inews.co.uk. Stumbled across it today. Now, basically, they're giving a list of the 5 top reasons why you may feel you have a haunting in a place or your place or whatever.
I think about haunted is everywhere. I'm going to stick that my little opinion in about that. It's everywhere. I can't help it. There's nothing haunted. It's everywhere. I keep sticking my nose in with that.
Well, not necessarily. You might be 100 floors up in a brand new development. the top floor is not going to be haunted, is it? Unless caveman built
True.
stone
True.
skyscrapers.
True.
So there are places. I know they say it's not the building, it may be the footprint, but yeah, maybe at ground level, the lobby, the basement might be a little bit on. But so just I'm splitting hairs, Mark, trying to be funny. It's not working. Anyway, right.
Gaz, I'm here all week. Thank you very much.
Right. Okay. So these five reasons why you may believe you've been haunted. Verbal suggestion and power of belief. Okay. So you are going to a place. So they actually did this. They did an experiment where they were investigating this old theatre. They had two groups of people. The first group were told seriously haunted, nasty spirits, all this sort of stuff. The second group were told that there's never been any report of anything there ever. Of course, the first group had the most experiences in that evening. So telling somebody that their place is haunted, and this is my gripe about what Mark was saying about getting paranormal groups in your house. Invariably, they're going to bring a medium with them who most of the time will tell you that you've got a ghost and it's nasty and it's an elemental and it's this, that and the other. And by the way, I want a few £100 to get rid of it for you. So it's a power of suggestion. If that suggestion is there, if you have got a predisposition to believe in this sort of stuff, maybe the sight of your own shadow terrifies you, you've watched too many horror films, then you're going to talk yourself into your property being haunted. So it is a big part of it. Okay. I don't mean alcoholic ones.
Yeah.
A lot of places have. And it's
I
not
still say
old buildings.
It's everywhere. I'm still going to stick by my guns on that one. It's everywhere. That's just my theory. I don't think anywhere is haunted. I think it's everywhere. Some places might have a little bit more energy than others, as I've said before. But I don't know. I just don't like the word haunted. It's just
haunted is a broad. Broad spectrum to the word haunted, whether you believe it or not. It's either a residual playback of something that happened many hundreds of years ago, or it's what they call an intelligent spirit that you can interact with it, all that sort of stuff. And demons, poltergeist, depends who you're talking to. We love Reigate.
No, I'm a member of Red Hill and Reigate History group, but I'm not a member of We Love Reigate. I don't live in Reigate. Another piece of news this week: lucid dreaming and sleep paralysis has been blamed for all alien abduction stories. Very much so.
Yeah, I did. I actually looked into this quite in depth. And
there she is. Evening, Pauline.
Hi, Pauline. They're talking about the hypnagogic state when you are just falling asleep. You're half asleep, half awake still, and the hypnopompic state where you are just in the throes of waking up. Now, how many times have you had a nightmare and you've shot awake and you can't move? Yes, the sleep paralysis, your body is still in that sleep state, whereas your mind is just waking up. And they're saying that a common thing to see in that state are figures around your bed. And they're saying that can explain a lot of these alien abduction stories, as Nate was saying there. So,
also look into people like I've mentioned him before, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's not paranormal. He does something about law of attraction, all that. But he studies very much brainwave patterns. Very interesting what Gaz was just saying, how your brain go through different brainwave patterns throughout the day, but especially between waking, sleeping, and that's when it's really active. You think it's not, but it is. Yeah,
and a lot of it was blamed on the old incubus and succubus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Demons.
Oh, go incubus and succubus.
Yeah. So, why not? It is a thing. I expect it's something we've all experienced where we've been in that half sleep, half awake state, and we've been unable to move, and we want to cry out because we've had a bad dream, but we can't. We're trying to scream, but we can't, or whatever. So, the old hag syndrome. Yeah, exactly that. So, there are rational explanations for it, but at the same time, there are stories there that people have reported being abducted when they're wide awake, middle of the day. So, it might account for some, but maybe not all. But interesting one.
Abduction is interesting. What's that very famous case? The chap in '86 he's interviewed recently on Joe Rogan podcast. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name.
Walton.
Thank you. That's quite. That's an alarming case. That is. That's
the logger. Yeah, it inspired the film Fire in the Sky, didn't it? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. When I was 8, child of 8, sometimes I used to sit on my bed at night. You could see the dent in the bedclothes where I was sitting. It would sometimes sit on my legs at night. It was about wow. Oh, that's a bit creepy.
That's a bit freaky. Domestic cat. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah. It
is widely reported. You know, people seeing they're actually laying in bed and they actually get a sense of a weight actually go on their bed.
Yeah.
It has happened to me, but it turned out it was actually a cat. So it did bloody terrify me at the time. But
yes, sir,
yeah, that's happened on an investigation as well. I was at the top of the stairs, and we put motion detectors on the second step down. So I was closest to the edge of the stairs, and we were sat on the landing. We were calling out and this, that, and the other. Well, all of a sudden, this thing appeared on my lap, and I just froze, mate. I think a little bit of wee came out as well. And then I heard this purring sound. It was the cat. We forgot to turn the motion sensors on, and the cat had come up the stairs. So absolutely bloody terrible.
Good evening, gents. Guess this is another load of crap to look forward to. Thanks, Frank.
Yes, Frank.
About as good as Paranormal Minds.
Yeah, Frank keeps it real. We like Frank.
Sorry about his humour. He's northern. What can you expect? He's northern.
Right, so that's point number 1. So we was going for these 5 points. We're going off in tangents, but that's what we do. So we got first one: verbal suggestion and power of belief. That's number 1. So number 2, electromagnetic fields. Now we all know a bit about EMF, that sort of stuff. We'll carry EMF detectors, or we used to on our investigations,
or dowsing rods. I use
basically. Now, EMF, those of you that are new to the show or new to the subject, everything with an electric current running through it gives off an electromagnetic field. You've heard of when nuclear bombs go off, they give out an electromagnetic pulse and fry all the electricity. Same sort of thing. Okay. So the reason we're interested in that in the paranormal is because the theory goes that when a spirit is trying to manifest in the ether, Mark's favorite word, it's got to draw energy from somewhere. You've heard reports of batteries going flat, that kind of thing, even people feeling drained, you know. So they're saying this manipulation of energy can be measured with an EMF meter. Some work, the cheap ones I wouldn't bother with. If you want to go out and pay silly money on like a tri-field meter, do that. Don't lend it out because someone's going to drop it down a set of stairs. I guarantee it.
Personal experience.
Oh, yeah. But also, in the same token, they're saying that EMF can actually cause what people perceive to be paranormal activity. And there was an experiment done called the Gansfeld experiment, where they would strap people into a chair and they put half ping pong balls over their eyes. It was kind of like a sensory deprivation experiment. And they would bombard their brains with high levels of EMF. And they would report feeling that they weren't alone and feelings of dread and anxiety and that, and things that you might feel in an old basement that has got a load of dodgy wiring. So go on, do you want to read that one out, Mark?
Yeah, amazing. My father woke to see a woman at the end of his bed. This is Michael White. On another occasion, she had an old-fashioned clothing. He pinched into her to leave a mark, so when he woke up in the morning, he would not think he was like hallucinating. What a great idea! That's really interesting. Yeah, sort of like, right, I need to do something so I know that when I wake up, it was real.
Yeah.
Fascinating. That's really fascinating.
Yeah. Or nowadays, film it. Just put a camera on yourself while you're asleep and see what happens.
That's the thing about you. I'm still umming and ahhing about how come all UFO footage is so grainy in the days of, we're in now 4 and 8K on your phones. What's going on?
Perhaps it messes with our electronics.
Could be.
I don't know. Anyway, back to EMF. So this Gansfeld experiment, people actually reported these feelings. So there is a lot of weight to the research out there that shows if you are particularly susceptible to EMF levels, then you are going to start experiencing this weird stuff. If maybe you are stood in a basement next to an old fuse box that hasn't been properly earthed, something like that. So if you're going to take EMF meters with you on an investigation, do a sweep first. And if it buries the needle in a place, you've probably got a bit of bad wiring or something like that. If you start to feel weird stuff, then the chances are it's EMF and not a ghost or a spirit or whatever. So there you go.
Well, we're also full of electrical currents. Our whole bodies are electrical currents. There's no reason why we wouldn't pick up on EMFs as we go around. I'm fascinated by electromagnetic fields. Really am.
But I'll tell you the biggest thing. The biggest
I'm
thing.
a level 1 Reiki healer. Yeah, Reiki's interesting.
I'm a Reiki master. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I did it.
Yeah, healing's very interesting. Self-healing and healing for others is very interesting. So yeah, I did Reiki years ago. I think just as an experiment. I've never really used it since, but I should do. Yeah, very interesting, Pauline.
Yeah, I did it on. It was just something I went along to. I got invited along to, and I did my level 1. Then I went all the way up to doing me Reiki master, and it's just absolutely fascinating. You know,
isn't it? Isn't it?
Universal life force energy. It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Your thoughts are based on electrical impulses, so is not the mind the best EMF you can have? Just a thought. Well, that's actually a good point. Good point.
Pretty much. Yeah,
nice one, Frank.
But just
5G must have caused the EMF problem. Yeah.
Big time. We've had it on several investigations where no matter where we were in a building or wherever we were, if you're in direct line with a phone tower, forget it. There's one up at the Northeast Aircraft Museum, Mark, that was giving us all kind of aggravation. You know, it was
that's an amazing place. Yeah, amazing place.
Wherever we were, it was just burying the needle, and we figured out, it's the bloody phone tower. So yeah, it's a right pain in the butt, that.
With my experience on the North Downs, we're on the North Downs, because that's down my way, and down your way as well. The gliding statues. What gliding statues? I had to pinch myself physically to check I was dealing with reality. The first thing to come to mind before running. Oh, can you explain a little bit further on that, Rick? That's really interesting. The North Downs is the North Downs have been traversed across for thousands and thousands of years. It's one of the main routes into the country before the English Channel was there for our Neolithic ancestors. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I used to do a fair lick of that up at Mepham and Vigo Village up near Rootham and that. It's
Rootham, yeah.
Really part of the world.
Yeah, because I walked the North Downs way a couple of years ago with my friend Paul. Fascinating place we were going through. Absolutely fascinating.
Lovely.
By the TV mast on the North Downs. But whereabouts? The North Downs 156 miles. Whereabouts in the North Downs? That's really interesting.
Got to pin it down a bit, Rick.
Yeah. It's Farnham all the way down to Canterbury, then on to Dover. We did the Canterbury Loop as well, so it's even longer. But we did it over like 14. There's a video on my channel about the whole walk. We videoed the whole walk. Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
Guildford. Do you know that bit?
Where Sunday out of school is? Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I know where that is. If you get time, Rick, drop us an email. I'd really like to know a little bit more about that. It's really interesting. Onslow Village, yeah, just outside Guildford. Yeah, I know where that is, yeah. Where the university is. Yeah. It's a lovely walk, that, guys. If you like walking, North Downs Way is lovely.
I wonder if the fact TV masts have got anything to do with it. What do you reckon?
Could be. Could be.
Yeah.
You thought about how powerful they are.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, go on.
Sorry, yes. Have you any more paranormal news of the week?
I'm still working my way through my list. Just chill, all right? One last thing. EMF meters. If you're going to use one, switch it off. Know what I mean? Because it biggest EMF producer, this thing.
In my view, when you're out on investigation, I know it's very in this day and age because you want it there for photos and that. Turn your phone off and keep it in the crew room if you ever got a crew room or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't need them with you. You don't need them with you.
So where are we? I think we're on number 3 or number 4 on my list. And I'm surprised this made the list, but it makes sense. Mold. Mold can cause the same kind of illnesses and hallucinations, very similar to carbon monoxide, a form of poisoning. If you've got specific mold spores in your house. Yeah. So,
and I've been about that problem.
There's a lot to check out before you phone Carl and Yvette. You know what I mean? Get it checked out. You could have anything in your house. And I think the last one on my list is Ouija boards. Ouija boards. We are board. No. Give me a chance, right?
I've used them. We use them loads of times. You've been with us when we use them. You know.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan.
I'm not saying that a Ouija board will cause you to get a haunting. I mean, if you believe in that sort of stuff, you crack on. You know, fill your boots. But if you're new to it and you're mucking around with a Ouija board in your house, you got all the lights off, you got all your friends around, and the cat knocks off an ornament just at the same time that you've asked a question, you're going to freak out and convince yourself that you've got a spirit in your house, and that is going to stick. Every little noise that you hear from then on you're going to blame on a spirit. All right, so that's if you no, Frank. I don't know, possibly, but I think that's all about
sandwiches.
So yeah, don't muck around with Ouija boards. Not for the reasons that you think. I don't believe that they open up portals to spirits or anything like that.
It's a game. It's a game.
Exactly. If you're doing that, I mean, you're doing exactly the same as if you're asking out. You know, is there anybody here with us? You're opening up that dialogue with spirits or whatever it is you're trying to communicate with. So yeah, don't muck about them because they're going to freak you out if nothing else. Okay, so that's
if you're very highly susceptible, as Gaz said, if you're very highly susceptible, you know everything's going to be paranormal. You know.
So yeah, that's my paranormal news roundup. Oh, I need to do that.
Paranormal news. That's great. I will do a little intro logo. Nate, I was once groped by a spirit. Don't think I could blame that one on the cat. Did you?
Lucky you, mate.
Cheeky spirit.
I've never been groped.
Oh, did you get groped, sir?
Oh, did you like it, sir? Was it up against a tree, sir? Oh.
Sorry, mate, but yesterday, Malcolm caused so many terrible effects. Yeah. Especially the sort of older houses and the window sills on tight. Yeah, very horrible, very horrible.
Yeah.
Paul had crazy experiences with Reiki. Reiki practitioner's iPod flew out of its dock. We're joined by a spirit called Bernard. Did feel great after. Yeah, it goes back donkey. I mean, sorry, no respect to Gaz doing all this master and all that kind of thing. Just anyone can do it, really. I think.
Well, they can do it. It's not a badge of seniority. It just means that you've.
Oh, I've had a few saying, "Oh, I'm a Reiki master, and so was my mother." And God.
No, you've gone to that next level. That's all. You've learned the symbol and learned how to use it and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's a lovely look. Whether you believe in Reiki or not, just lay on the bed for half hour, 45 minutes, and just chill out, listening to some music. And it's a lot of people. Some people report nothing. Other people see like fireworks display. You know, it's so cool. All right, so
that's why meditation's great as well. Meditation's great as well. Yeah, I'm trying to. Two hands grabbed my arse as soon as it was my missus. Turned around, no one was in the house. That's what you're saying, sir. That's what you're saying. Have you had any? Is that in your own house, Nate? Have you had any other experiences there?
Yeah, can I come round your house, Nate?
Scubas. Whenever I think incubus and scubas, I always think of the ancient Ram Inn, the most overhyped place in the whole of the UK for paranormal activity, but one of my favourite places as well. Here she is. Hello, sorry I'm late. Kids are making me play cards. Brilliant. Hello, Mandy. Good evening.
Hi, Mandy.
She's here. All is good in the world.
Was you saying about the ancient Ram?
I was saying about the ancient Ram, yeah. Whenever I hear incubus, succubus, I always think of the ancient Ram Inn because it had apparently an incubus sex demon thing.
Freakiest thing about that place is the owner, mate. I tell you.
Well, he's passed away now, lovely Frank. He's a lovely guy, actually. He was a lovely guy.
He was a bit eccentric, to say the least, wasn't he? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, he was indeed. Yeah. Good evening, Julie. Nice to see you.
Julie.
19 watching. We've got one like. Thank you very much. We're building. You know. So eventually, it'd be great. Hopefully, we can do it later in the year. Me and Gaz could be in the same place. You know. Oh, here we go. I have a video of me doing John Humphreys a couple of months before he passed. Oh, lovely. I've got John Humphreys on our Spiral Paranormal episode from the Ancient Ram Inn, where we joined a few other people for the most hilarious evening I think I've ever had on investigation. Because I can't go on to other people's groups. but this guy got completely taken over by a demon, but who spoke English, of course, and no spoke like that. It was hilarious. Yeah, absolutely hilarious. But yes, it was an amazing place. Amazing place. Amazing place. So,
shall we talk about NDEs?
Yes. Now, for people who don't know, NDEs are near-death experiences, or an out-of-body experience, and usually under traumatic events. Neuroscience says NDE is a subjective phenomena resulting from disturbed bodily multisensory intervention that occurs during life-threatening events. So a lot of people are sort of aware that they're dead or could be dead or in between. A sense of much peace, sense of bliss, and usually lots of white lights, and a tunnel, going down a tunnel. So usually maybe after surgery or something like that, something gone wrong. And the most fascinating thing is the sense of talking to beings, or not actually talking physically to beings, but beings. It's very similar probably to a sort of DMT trip, dimethyl tryptamine, which I still want to do an episode on. But yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. There's a lot of great case reports you can find on YouTube where they go into quite specific detail. People who weren't even religious, Gaz, did you want to come in on that?
Yeah, it's they actually did a study of cardiac patients, and they actually found that about 10% were actually having these episodes, and there was a lot of commonalities, even though it was a broad spectrum of the demographic. People that are complete agnostics to people that are devout, whatever. But they all reported seeing, well, not all, but excuse me, I've dropped me notes. The majority of them all reported seeing the tunnel with the white light, as Mark said, this feeling of just complete euphoria and just being enveloped in love, or, So it's something they are studying. I mean, it goes back a long time, actually, and there is something that I'd like to read you.
Before you carry on, Gaz, before we go into this, because it's really interesting, I'm a bit shocked by
I've got to find it anyway.
Right.
So,
Frank Humphreys, I was asked to join Most Haunted and Ghost Adventurers. Why? I class both offers as near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Oh, when we have our own show, we'll show them how it's done. We'll show them how it's done.
Right, now, basically, this all kicked off, the serious study of it kicks off in about 1975. Now, that was a guy, I've got my notes tonight are all over the shop. So you've got to
really? Is that only 1975 they started taking it seriously?
That's when they started doing a serious study of it. A guy called Raymond Moody, he was the first person to coin the phrase near-death experience in his bestseller, Life After Life.
I know that book, yeah.
And it caused physicians and psychologists to take seriously the reports and open it up to serious study. So, yeah, it's quite a recent thing, but people have been experiencing it since way back. And one experience I came across was in 1791. British Admiral Sir Francis Beaufort. The guy that the Beaufort scale, the wind scale, was named after. Sir Francis Beaufort actually had an NDE. And it was after a time when he nearly drowned. And he actually wrote this. Now, I might trip over myself reading this because it's in like oldie worldy speak. But it's a bit of a mouthful, but hopefully you'll get the gist. A calm feeling of the most perfect tranquility succeeded the most tumultuous sensation. Nor was I in any bodily pain. On the contrary, my sensations were now of rather a pleasurable cast. Though the senses were thus deadened, not so the mind. Its activity seemed to be invigorated in a ratio which defies all description. For thought rose after thought with a rapidity of succession that not only indescribable but probably inconceivable by anyone who has been himself in a similar situation. The course of these thoughts I can even now in great measure retrace. The event that just taken place, thus travelling backwards, every incident of my past life seemed to me to glance across my recollection in retrograde procession. The whole period of my existence seemed to be placed before me in a kind of panoramic view. So basically, his life flashed in front of his eyes, and that is reported quite a bit, isn't it? It's something that most reports, they say that it is set out, and you can see everything in great detail like that, you know. But another thing that there actually seems to be a lot of reports of is that they can, even decades later, they can recall what they went through with great detail. It never seems to wane. The memory of it never seems to wane off. And in a lot of cases, it's completely life-changing. It allows them to see life in a whole different
no
way.
one ever seems to come back as the same, but they come back and their perspective on the world. Who wouldn't? One of my favorite, just one of the guys people in the paranormal field who I absolutely admire, who got me into dowsing, was a guy called Hamish Miller. People who are into earth energy currents might know who Hamish Miller is. He wrote The Sun and the Serpent in the 80s and rediscovered sort of earth energy currents and ley lines from the Sir Michael and Mary line. But he had a near-death experience because he was stressed from his old job. And then he came back, started dowsing and moved to Cornwall. You know, no longer with us, unfortunately, but an absolutely amazing guy. And it's all down to an NDE, you know. Oh, Mandy, I had an out-of-body experience when I had scarlet fever. I saw my grandmother standing on my bed, and I was standing just behind her looking at myself. She had died the year before. She gave the most beautiful smiles, squeezed my hand, and then shook her head and gently pushed me back into bed. I was so ill. Temperature was 104. Could have been a fever-induced hallucination, but I remember it so vividly. Wow. How old were you then, Mandy? That's intriguing. Andy, experienced sleep paralysis a number of times. Not the same as an OOBE or NDE, but it to me shows that consciousness can exist independently of the body, which is I think a lot of people's theory now. Really do. We had 24 watching just now, gone down to 18. How rude.
Yeah, they heard me talking.
My theories on quantum particles entanglement. Yet another rabbit hole I fell down. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all rabbit hole, and that's great.
Well, this something I was actually I was talking to somebody about earlier about there is a rabbit hole massively in this. There's so many implications in this.
14, okay.
And it is that age-old question of where does the body stop and the consciousness start? The psyche, as they used to say in ancient Greece. And if we look at it, that what makes me, this part in here that science still doesn't know what it is. If we see this as the driver of the car and the body is the car, obviously the car cannot operate without the driver. But can the driver operate without the car? You know, when that car breaks down for good, can that driver actually detach and go off somewhere else, and whether, you know, if you reincarnate, find another car or whatever. But and someone made an actual, I think it was Frank there, where does near death start? Because we tend to think of it as when the heart stops, a few minutes later, you've got zero brain activity. But that is when these things are actually happening. And there was a neuroscientist that it actually happened to. And when they revived her, she looked at her charts and she said, that's impossible. And they said, what? She said, well, I had zero brainwave activity, but I experienced this. And it actually led her to change her field of study. Yeah. So the thinking is that the brain dies. You know, starved of the blood and the oxygen, it dies. But actually, the cells can remain salvageable for hours afterwards. You've heard stories of people falling, like being suffocated under avalanches and falling into frozen lakes, you know, the water, and being revived hours later with zero brain damage, you know. So at what point are you actually classed as dead? You know, so, yeah, it's an
Frank,
interesting...
Let's go have a good chat. I mean, I'm completely opposite, Frank. I do think that there's a conscience goes beyond our mind. We're just the antenna, you know. But that's a very good point. Good thing about what Frank's done there is actually given an opinion and why he thinks like that. As opposed to I don't believe like that, which a lot of people do. That's good to actually giving it, reasons why you don't think that. Julie, I had a strange experience of OBE when I was 7 years old. I was running to the shop with 2 friends, and I was in the air and could see the backs of my friends and myself running. So you were conscious. You weren't. Wow. You're running to the shops. You're outside and fully awake. Okay, that's interesting.
It is.
I think I love the driver car analogy. Yeah, it is. They're very good. He's clever as Gaz. Is consciousness something we have, or just something we experience with our brain? It is never actually inside us. I don't think it's inside us at all. I say we're just passing through. Consciousness is a universal force. How about that? A universal force, part of the ether, part of the higher consciousness, part of the unified field, which we think could be, like not dark matter or dark energy, but in that kind of sense. That's my take on it. That's my take on it.
Because of what we do with this show, we've got to give a balanced opinion. Okay.
Always gone.
There's been a lot of study into it, and there remains a lot of study going into this. It's being taken very seriously because the near-death experience as a phenomena is real. People are experiencing it. Not everybody is lying. Why they are experiencing the same kind of thing?
Yes.
I'm trying to balance this out now. Okay. Maybe because
give your opinion. Don't balance it. Just give your opinion. Yeah.
That's their preconceived idea. It's not my opinion. This is the balance. All right. I don't know what I believe. I've never experienced it myself, but I know that people are experiencing something. So the experts are saying that the reason that they're all seeing a tunnel with a bright light, firstly, is because your sight, usually your vision is the first thing that goes, and blood flow around the iris is decreased because you're in cardiac arrest or whatever. So you're going to get the tunnel vision the same way you get it when you are about to pass out. You get the tunnel vision. We have got preconceived ideas because we've all heard the stories about a tunnel with a light, and there's me family waiting for me and me dog and all that sort of stuff. So that is all inside us. That is what we're going to expect to find. And
you don't get that on an acid trip. You don't get that with plant medicine when you're not on an operating table. So if you take DMT, you're in a state, plant medicine, it's not a drug, guys. It's plant medicine. You can get the same effect, actually even more real. People say it's actually, they feel it feels realer than real, which I find fascinating. Realer than real.
Yeah.
Here's a good point.
It's something to do with serotonin.
Yeah, serotonin, yes. Yeah. There are 2 planes of conscious thought, the head and the heart. Now, even neuroscientists are now coming to the fact that the heart is very much linked to the mind, heart-mind correlation. Once again, people like Dr. Joe Dispenza look into his work. He's really, really, really fascinating. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Michael. It seems we are very directed in our education towards the mechanical activities of the brain and hardly a bit in the presence of the mind consciousness. Well, the problem with that, Rick, is because they can't measure them. I love, as we said before, I'm a big science nut, but you need science needs things to measure. How do you measure consciousness? No, you can't. A bloody noisy road. You can't measure. You can't put consciousness into a lab and put it into a test tube.
No, we don't know. We don't know what it is. Experts don't know what it is. They don't know what makes us us. They don't know what this psyche is. They don't know what dreams are to this day. So it is immeasurable. The only thing they can try and come up with is some kind of explanation as to what is going on in the brain when it is deprived of oxygen and blood.
Yeah.
And they're saying that it doesn't all die at once. There are parts of the brain that go into overdrive and they fire like you wouldn't believe, which maybe explains why your life flashes before your eyes, because it's all these chemicals are being released. But what they can't explain is why on the whole that it's a pleasurable experience. Why isn't it a panicking experience?
Well, some people do have negative experiences.
They do.
Yeah, but you've looked some reports of people have had really bad times. They think they're in hell or something like that.
Yeah, feelings of loneliness. Yeah, loneliness, dread, all that kind of stuff, terror. And they are changed when they come back. But on the whole, it is a deeply pleasurable experience. Feelings of being enveloped in what they say is love.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm with Nathan on this one. Yeah, when our bodies die, our energy leaves us and becomes part of the universe. You know, I like that. I know I've got nothing to prove it. I always wonder what happened to our consciousness before we came into this body. Then we're going to reincarnation, which is probably another subject we need to look into. We look out through 5-HT serotonin hallucination. Is that 5 or 5-8? I don't know what that means. What's 5-HT?
Oh, you've lost me. You've gone too technical there for me, Rick. 5-HT serotonin.
Stop being intelligent. That's interesting.
We don't do intelligent on this show.
Is it possible the energy by the...
Just clarify that a bit for me, Rick.
Yeah, thank you, Rick.
I'll look into, definitely.
Is it possible that the energy created by the body doesn't actually leave the body, but instead the body releases the energy? Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Could well be. Could well be. Yeah, that's a nice theory. And that's all we've got. We've only got theories, you know. In chemistry. Yeah. HT in chemistry, yeah. Periodic table or something like that. Am I right?
Periodic, yeah. Thanks, Rick. Yeah, we are a sum of our parts, aren't we? And if our brain is releasing that particular chemical, and we crave it, serotonin, don't we?
Yeah.
It's
I'm very
feeling good drug, isn't it?
I'm very much sort of law of attraction, or law of vibration is a better term, actually. That what you put out is what you're going to get back. You know, we're like magnets. And I look around, you know, you try your best to be sort of positive, and you know, it's not always hard. But I'm trying to, the way you think. I know I'm going slightly off topic here, but the way you think is very important. Always observe what you're thinking. You know, I get up, I drive to work, someone's driving slow in front of me, and you go, but think, what does that achieve? Nothing, absolutely nothing. So I'm really trying to sort of change the way I think about things and the way I look at things, and also not how I think about it, but how I feel. That's where it gets interesting, how you feel about something.
I think it's very much, you know, I don't want to go full on hippie on you, but it's about, I kind of had a revelation that I grew up from a very science standpoint. You know, I was mad about astronomy and that kind of stuff.
Still am. I'm fascinated by the universe.
Yeah,
or the multiverse.
Einstein, Newton, Copernicus, Galileo, all that, man, my heroes, you know.
Yeah, same here.
But knowing what I know about the universe, knowing about the atoms inside my body and where they were created inside a dying star, every atom that you see around you was created inside a dying star. And those atoms haven't changed since they were created inside this dying star.
That's the third law of thermodynamics. Nothing can be destroyed, nothing can be created.
We share there's certain atoms in your body that were once inside a dinosaur. You know, there are certain atoms in your body that were once part of William Shakespeare. You know, that's just
so William Shatner then.
Yeah, William Shatner as well. Maybe, you never know. But he's
still alive.
It's about finding your place and finding a balance. We need to find some kind of equilibrium about our place in the universe. Now, when you're walking through woods, for instance, I used to nice trees, very nice here, like dappled sunlight, very pretty, all that. But now, when you think about it as you're not walking through it, you're part of it.
Yeah,
and you're part of
nature. Yeah,
the Earth and part of the solar system and the galaxy and the universe. It's a totally different way of thinking about it. And when you also think about the fact that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transferred. You've got that energy, that part of you that makes up you is energy, bioelectrical energy. Now, that doesn't get destroyed when you die. Something has got to happen to it. It's got to go somewhere. Now, are these NDEs that process of moving on? And there are a lot of stories about these beings that they're seeing, whether it's family members or whether it's Jesus or whether it's God. And they're saying it's not your time, you need to go back. And they get wrenched back into the body, which a lot of them hate. You know, they've gone from this feeling of perfect bliss to be wrenched back to a place they don't really want to be.
Yeah,
you know,
I've actually people said they didn't. When people said, "Did you want to come back?" Some of them didn't want to come back, and they had families. So imagine what kind of power that is, or maybe that is the real reality. You know, I'll keep going about it, but maybe it's a real reality. consciousness itself could be a quantum particle, explaining why it seems to us to have an effect on quantum experiments. And once it leaves us, it will always find a way back into another car. Oh, I like that. I like that. That's a smart way of looking at it. Yeah. Nice one, Nath. I like that.
The quantum stuff, Nath, I'd love to have a conversation about quantum physics.
Schrodinger's cat. Let's go. Where's the cat?
Well, when I was growing up, Nath, the smallest thing was an atom. We didn't know about quarks and all that sort of stuff back then. You know, the smallest thing was an atom, and that was that. But we didn't know that there was a whole different set of things, you know, these particles, these weird things that make up atoms, you know. So, and when they brought out these like string theory and things like that, it was like, wow, you know, they're trying to explain and be in contradiction with all of Einstein's theories and stuff. Now, my brain's not clever enough to let me understand that, but
quantum's very hard to understand, and people, all these spiritual gurus think they know about it. It grinds my boat. If you don't understand quantum physics, you've got to be a quantum physicist. You know, it's really hard to get your head around.
If you think you've got a handle on it, you haven't got a handle on it.
No. We are the universe experiencing itself. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. That's basically it, mate. We are as much of the universe as any star you'll see in the night sky. And we're going through it.
I have Asperger's syndrome. Is my soul autistic, or they're autistic spirits? I doubt it, because you're going back to a pure consciousness. You're having something which is physical. You know, Asperger's apparently can, you know, that also can be to your advantage sometimes, you know.
Thing is, Pauline, and I mean this in the loveliest way, love you to bits. Maybe Asperger's syndrome is the next step up on the evolutionary tree, because one of my steplads, he's got Asperger's, and what he comes out with and the way his brain works, I am so envious of.
I don't find it. I think it's not. I think it can be to your advantage sometimes.
There are certain aspects of Asperger's syndrome that affect people in a sort of disadvantageous way, you know, socially awkward, that kind of stuff. But there are other ways in which it is absolutely fascinating. And these big companies like Microsoft and Google, they actually set out to find people with Asperger's syndrome because of the way their brains work, their ability to understand computer codes and things like that. So maybe, rather than it being a disadvantage, it is the next step of human evolution, you know. So that's the one way to look at it, Pauline, I suppose.
It's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us, actually. That's very interesting. You know, that's why people get ill and all that kind of thing. That's our bodies, you know, or epigenetics. There's a new science called epigenetics. It's actually your environment that can trigger your illnesses, which is very, very interesting. I can't call it
epigenetics. I'm
getting a little bit convinced about it. Done a lot of looking into that.
Epigenetics, very quickly, guys, if you've not heard of it, it's experiences can carry over the generations. So you might experience something in your life or have an echo of something that happened down your family tree many, many generations ago. You know, you might experience something, a flashback to something that they experienced. So it's basically memories and experiences carried over into the genes. It's quite fascinating, actually.
It is. A lot of the experience this way have met Jesus and believe in God afterwards. I'm an atheist, but I don't think Jesus is real. But maybe because you've got such a strong belief that manifests itself in wherever we go to make you feel comfortable as you move into that next reality, or into the reality. About the next reality, or maybe is the reality, and this is all false, you know.
I'm interested, actually. I wish I'd have done a little bit more if I've had a bit more time, because we only came up with this, I think it was Friday, wasn't it, where we was looking into doing a show on it. It seems to span a lot of cultures, and beliefs and things like that. Maybe they don't meet Jesus or God. Maybe they meet their version of it. You know, I don't know how it works, but the sensations all seem to be reported the same. You know, this feeling of absolute bliss. And they don't want to come back from it. So
Can we keep this talk to a mere human level, please, gents? NDE's great atoms is getting a bit what? I don't understand. Oh, crazy.
We're getting a bit heavy for him, mate. That's what...
We do paranormal research. What do you expect? It's a paranormal show.
Getting a bit heavy, Frank.
I don't think we would ever do. I don't think we'd ever do a show on religion. I don't know because, no, I don't think that will be wise because I'm not religious, and I don't think that will be. Maybe we might do. I don't know. I've had many debates about religion with people. So
no, I mean we're interested in the paranormal, and
more paranormal than religion.
What's the most supernatural thing on the planet? Spirituality. So,
of course, yeah. But even perception fascinates me. Yes, that's me. Yeah. It is amazing. I'm glad I'm spiritual, but I'm glad I have no faith. I'm really quite glad I have no faith. I'm very happy about that. When you think about it, we are the living total of our collective ancestors, energetically and genetically. Yeah, yeah. I love the word. I love saying to I say Neolithic or whatever. I like saying our ancestors. I do like saying our ancestors. Frank, Marq, as an atheist, where do you believe you come from, and where do you believe you're heading? What's that got to do with being an atheist? I've just said it. We're consciousness, maybe just passing through. I think that there you go. That's where we come from, as we're going. But yeah, my atheist means I don't believe I don't believe in religion or God. That's what an atheist is. Anti-theist.
But where's your destination, Mark?
Unified field. After I've gone, carry on. I've said this so many times. Just our consciousness going straight, carrying on.
Do you find it fascinating though that we all think we're going somewhere?
Yes, I think that thought. I think it was not Carl Sagan. It was Stephen Hawking. I think because people's general fear of death. I think that's changing slightly now, especially with so many what we call new thought that's been on the horizon for the last 15 years. I think people are getting a little bit more. I hate to use the word woke, because woke to other strands of consciousness. So I don't think it's as bad as people. But yeah, generally I think it used to be because people were just scared of dying. Totally understandable. Yeah. Totally understandable. Also, could we do spirits and ghosts and paranormal investigations? We must all have a feeling that yes, we do go on somewhere. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. The white light people see could be due to entanglement, and your consciousness could be experiencing information from a particle inside one of those dying stars. And no pain can be experienced without the brain and body. Yeah. Interesting. That's very good.
Nath.
We all think we are going somewhere because we don't want to think that death is the end. Yeah, exactly. And it's not about being dead. I don't think death is. I don't even like the word death. If we do carry on, it's not death. It's very horrible.
For me, it is, and I've had this feeling ever since I was a kid. And now I'm pretty weird now. So you imagine what I was like as a kid. I used to wake up crying at night because this ain't all there is. There's more to this. And I could never put my finger on it. I used to think weird things like, is this some kind of ant farm? Is this an experiment? Is there somebody controlling this? And I never grew up in a religious setting, like far from it. It was all science and that sort of stuff. But it's always nagged at me, that thing in the back of my mind. There's something more than I know.
Well, science has actually, in a way, proved that in a little bit, that there is more, which you've already touched upon tonight. Back in 1924, when quantum physics really started to come into the field.
Yeah.
That's what did change. That changed everything. The 1920s, people forget what an amazing decade. We thought we lived in one galaxy. Suddenly we live in a multi-galaxies.
Yeah.
We're part of a local group. Thousands of millions of galaxies.
Yeah, and now they're talking about a possible multiverse. We're not just in one universe. And then it goes on multiple dimensions within that multiverse. So,
okay, Mark, just asking, sir. That's right.
So you ain't offended him, Frank.
Yeah. Faith is a man-made construction. It's like expecting a bridge to be sound before crossing it. Yeah, that's sort of my theory. I think maybe not the core spirituality of religion, but the doctrine that goes with it. That screams man-made. We all think we're going. Yeah, we said that one. Thank you very much. Told you, Gaz, bloody big rabbit hole. Oh,
It
yeah.
is, mate.
Go
I
down
feel
that
like
rabbit
Alice.
hole. Go down that rabbit hole. What is Earth was a business? What is Earth?
What if Earth was a business? I think Frank might be saying, yeah, business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, we could all be
Who's the boss
part
then? The
of.
rest?
We could all be part of some massive organism that we don't even know about. You know, we could be a part of a bloody great big space creature's tail. You know,
Or we could be part of the Illuminati
silly.
and the Rothschilds.
Yeah, it sounds silly, but if you get a drop of water, look at it under a microscope, thousands upon thousands of microscopic creatures in there. Now, they don't know they're sitting in a glass on a worktop in somebody's house, in a country, in a big planet. They don't know any different. So why would we know any different? You know,
Good point. Go back to quantum again. Going back to quantum. Very, very good point there, Gaz.
Yeah.
Here we go. If you think there is something more, doesn't that inhibit you making the most of your life? No, I'm going to address this. Actually, Andrew's made a really good point here. Imagine we only have one life, make the most of it while you can. I don't obsess about going, all right, a very good point. I need to address this. I know Ricky Gervais addresses this. Yeah, I'm not obsessed with my consciousness going on. I try to enjoy the best life while I'm here because it's the only physical body I'll have. It's the only life I'll have unless we do go down the reincarnation route. So yeah, I don't obsess with it at all. I know religious people probably do, but why worry about now? You're living now, so enjoy it while you're here. You know, that's life's meant to be enjoyed and be happy, strong, and healthy. So yeah, very, very good point, Andrew. Very good point. What if? Yes, the new Marvel.
What if Earth was a business? Is what he was saying. He was like, what if? Yeah.
What if everything humans do is about business? Well, it is, isn't it?
Amen.
I don't want to go down that. I'd rather not be in that. Absolutely, Andrew. Live your life in appreciation of all who have brought you here, who are within your very construct. Yeah, construct's a nice word I like to use as well. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I was saying, I'm fascinated to know where consciousness comes from and goes, or is it just passing through into a physical body, out again, and into something else? Science as a whole spent so much time, effort, and money to disprove that consciousness played a part in science because it wouldn't prove anything we believe true. When they couldn't disprove it, that's when the ridicule started. Yeah. As I say, science. I love science, absolutely love it, but you can't measure consciousness. It's not something you can take into a lab. So it's always going to have this mystical thing, and people will poo-poo it. But a lot more people have started to come around saying maybe it's not. It's more than that, and not just passing on, but also what you can do with your mind while you're here. That's also interesting. That's why I go look at people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Dr. Bruce Lipton, all doing new thought. And Dr. Bruce Lipton is the next surgeon, who was very mechanical in his practice back in sort of 70s, and now sort of has a totally different view on life, not for any reason. He's just smart, Maybe a giant leisure park for the aliens. Yeah, probably. They're looking down at us going, look at those silly sods.
Could be. It could be.
So yeah,
getting back to my revelation.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna disappear for about 1 minute. Well, no, about 30 seconds. Is that all right? While you're talking about your revelation.
The little boy's wee room.
It is indeed.
Right, take me longer than 30 seconds, mate.
No, don't take me long. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. Right back. I'll see you in a bit, mate. No problem.
Right,
I'll fill in while you're gone.
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
No, this revelation that I had, when you feel connected, and it's not just on a. It's difficult to explain, It's like the stuff that goes on in the world is so petty, because there's all this other big stuff that's going on around you, and it's easy to sit in your room and feel disjointed from the world and not part of it. But when it finally hits you that you are connected on that level, it's such a game changer. It really is. Everything petty falls by the wayside. You know, it's such a fascinating feeling. Where are we? We've got the aliens are a giant leisure park. The Earth will have a Frying Tonight sign on it, which will guide alien diners to their favourite meal. Yeah, more than likely. More than likely. Nath, the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment was made just to prove that the consciousness doesn't play a part in quantum physics, as was the multiverse theory, where every choice we make creates another universe. So I don't know where I stand on that one, Nath. I know it's there are parallel universes, that sort of stuff. You know, I don't know whether I believe that, whether there's another Gaz sat somewhere twiddling a pen, and in one certain universe the pen's going to shoot up and blind me, but in the others it isn't. I don't know about that one. I'm open.
Yeah, I'm a bit about that as well.
I'm open to the possibility of multiverses, different universes, different dimensions, that kind of stuff. But
even scientists are now catching up with that. A lot of, you know, Professor Mick. Oh God, I'm terrible with names.
Mitchell Cockow.
He thinks outside the box. Neil deGrasse thinks a little bit outside the box, but I love Neil deGrasse Tyson, great guy. So yeah, you know, as I said to you, I think on another program, when the Higgs boson was discovered, when Professor Peter Higgs put forward that theory of the Higgs boson, that one particle that actually could actually fit into the standard model, it changed. He was ridiculed for it, you know. Yeah. And then it was discovered, or semi-discovered.
The God particle.
Yeah. Do you believe, like Helen Sharman, aliens are living on Earth? No idea. I've got no thing. It's a very, very good point.
The evidence is pointing towards it. I mean, and like, if I take my tinfoil hat off for a minute, there is a lot of evidence out there that these things are under the ocean. And this ain't just me being a UFO geek. There is plenty of evidence out there with the US Navy releasing a lot of footage of stuff that's been corroborated on radar, sonar, stuff traveling through the water at speeds that we could only ever dream about. And where's the perfect place to hide your on-Earth colony? Under the water. I mean, how much of the ocean floor have we actually ever, you know, observed? Have we ever actually explored? It's very, very small amounts. So, yeah, quite possibly. But if you are talking about lizard people and that sort of stuff, I'm not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a person. You said lizard people. I'm just going to mention his name. I'd love to get him on the show. I like David Icke. I'm sorry, I don't agree with everything he says. The lizard people I'm like whatever. But we've all got bits of lizard in us from evolutionary standpoint. But I find him fascinating. A lot of things he's still been doing this for 30 years. He's still been going. A lot of his stuff has come true. So you know. But I also think something I don't agree with. I'm going, okay, no, that's not. I can't see any. The problem with people like that, you know, sometimes they make patterns fit. You know, it's like Ancient Aliens. What I watched last night? Ancient Aliens. No, Alien Highway.
I watched that.
That's quite good. I mean, I still think a lot of it's probably made up because it's a TV program. No one's ever known, but I find that quite interesting. Frank, what's it? Always better to take a shovel with you everywhere you go when discussing the paranormal, because you know that the things are going to get deep, gents. So be mindfully prepared. Just tell them, you know.
It's true. The trouble is, well, it's not a trouble. The good thing about this subject is that there's no proof, no scientific 100% proof of anything. All we can do is give our own opinions, and my opinion is just as valid as Mark's. It's just as valid as Frank's,
of course,
just as valid as Nate's. You know, because we can only give what we have researched. We can give an opinion on what we've researched and what we've experienced ourselves. So nothing's to say that I'm right and you're wrong.
But also, very quickly, I'll say to Wendy, little personal message for you. I'm so glad you are awake. She knows what I'm talking about. I think that. I mean, but also, can I say this?
Say it. We don't care.
When you look at some of the,
so they can't sue me. Go on. What?
When you're on some of the groups, is our opinion because we're more? God, how can I say that without sounding really rude? All right, I'll just say it. The middle-aged housewife who's obsessed with all the TV program, paranormal TV programs, you know, oh, my aunt come through last week and all that. Is our opinion more valid than hers?
Well, this goes back to the UFO thing, for instance. Another version of that. Is the testimony of a police officer more valid than a guy that stands up from Iowa with a gap in his teeth and a bit of straw out of his mouth? You know,
there you go.
Same sort of thing.
Yeah,
because he's a trained observer. I don't know. Questions out there, mate. You know, we've been involved in the paranormal for a lot of years. We know some of the things that people may perceive to be paranormal that aren't, but that doesn't mean that our opinion on anything is any more valid than anybody else.
No.
So, yeah.
No. That's why I get annoyed when people saying, oh, it's all rubbish. And I say to people, and I've had it a couple of times, people say, oh, it's all rubbish, whatever we were talking about, UFOs or whatever. I say, oh, could you present some evidence? What research have you done to come to that conclusion? Well, I just don't really, they've done no research. And I find that lazy, so lazy. Attended a Brian Cox lecture once. I like Brian Cox. I saw his tour a couple of years back. He said that we are so lucky and privileged to be here, right now. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are, as a species, we are, they say that we are in the middle of the next mass extinction. Not that it may start, they're saying that it has started. There are so many creatures going extinct every day now with what we're doing to the planet. And there are so many things that could wipe us out in a blink of an eye, a meteorite or an asteroid impact,
but we now have the science where we can actually hopefully do something about it,
Yeah.
But what we've achieved in just 50 years, what we can achieve in 100 years, it's going to be amazing. I'm very optimistic.
And we're lucky to be here from an evolutionary standpoint, and maybe that what Brian Cox was going on about.
Yeah,
that a certain
everyone else's. Yeah,
set of steps had to happen in place for that to happen. If the dinosaurs hadn't been wiped out, for instance, where would we be? Would we even be here?
Probably not. We wouldn't have birds, for starters. What do you think about the research in the Skinwalker Ranch? I don't really know much about the Skinwalker Ranch. It's a TV show. I don't really know much about it.
Michael, don't open that can of worms, mate, because I'm not having it.
Well, I don't know. We'll get to that in a second. Hold on. I'll have to look at Pauline. I'll have to look more into that.
I'm not going to fall out with you, Michael, but I'm not having it.
Nothing is rubbish in the paranormal. The human imagination is brilliant. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice statement. I like that. No, nothing should be rubbish. Except flat earthers.
That's not paranormal. That's just idiotic.
No, it's not. No, it is idiotic. If each moment is everything that ever was, what does that make time? If each moment is everything that ever was, what does that make time? Or
if each moment is everything that ever was, what does that make? I think that's just giving me diarrhea.
That's
trying to figure that out. It's deep and profound, Rick, and I'm well impressed, but that's giving me a headache.
I don't believe man has ever been to the moon because of the Van Allen belts. No, man has been to the moon. Man has been to the moon.
Michael,
the Van Allen belt has very low levels of radiation when they pass through the Van Allen belt. They're not in it long enough. If they've stayed in it for a good few days, it might be different, but it's not as strong as people thought it was.
And also, around the equator of the planet, the Van Allen belt is thicker and more intense than at the poles, which is why if the Earth is here and the moon is here, they don't go like that. They go up out of the atmosphere and do an orbit of the Earth and then to the moon. They go out where the Van Allen belt is at its weakest. I'll sit and I'll argue the toss on that one all day with you, Michael. We've been to the moon.
We have been to the moon every single time. There is evidence up there. You can see it.
I don't fall out with you, mate.
No. There's a mirror. There's a mirror on the moon which you can flash a laser beam at and it'll bounce back to us.
Yeah.
We have been to the moon.
I'll say this much. There are countries on this planet, China, Russia, for instance, that were thick. Russia especially was thick in the space race with the US. They would have liked nothing better than to shit on the fact that the US have been to the moon. All right. They had radio telescopes, which is basically like an optical telescope, but in a part of the spectrum that our eyes can't distinguish, focused on that craft as it was descending. China has put a surveyor around the moon, and you can see the lunar rover sat there, and the tire tracks and the footprints and the flag. And they would like nothing better than to crap on the fact that the US had been to the moon.
Michael, we're dealing with facts, though. We're dealing with facts. We're not dealing with like of our opinion. It's the facts. But no, it's fair enough.
Yeah, it's.
Wendy, when are you going to come on the show? I'd love to you guys talk about the Stargate. Egypt has the pyramids being a map, and did Saddam Hussein have one? Did the Americans? I don't know enough about that. But it's a fascinating subject to look into, actually, Stargates.
Do you remember me talking about a box that was found in Iraq?
Yes.
I wonder if that's got anything to do with it. This box was found.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And a load of the military turned up, and there was a big hoo-ha about it, and they carted this thing off. I wonder if that's got anything to do with that. So,
time is he's smart, this guy. Time is a construct, man-made for us to understand life and death. We've got talking about big subjects tonight.
And it's not linear. It's not linear.
No.
We thought,
and we know it's not linear. I mean, also, if you want to go, we're going a bit sciencey for a paranormal live stream, but if you're in a plane, you're going, all right, you won't notice it because it's so minute, but you're going slower in time than someone who will be on the ground.
They proved it. They got an atomic clock. They got two atomic clocks, which are synchronized to a millionth of a second, and they got one on the tarmac at Heathrow and the other one they put on Concorde, and they flew it at the speed of sound to New York and back, perfectly synchronized. When that plane come back, it was slightly slower than the other one. Now, if you put that over a period, now that was about 750 miles an hour. Now, if you put that to 186,000 miles a second, you can travel to the nearest star and back at the speed of light. And when you come back, your sun would have caught up in age, be the same age as you. And it's not just a theory. It's not just a theory.
It's general relativity. Gravitational waves as well. Fascinating. When they actually detected gravitational waves, which had been a theory for years, that was a moment in science. This is a paranormal live stream. We're not doing a science show here, but we'll say I prove. Although we love the paranormal, I'm really interested in science as well. The fact that time is the fourth dimension is also a construct based on the fact that we only perceive 3 physical dimensions.
Well, I think they're talking about 10 now, Nath, which totally breaks my noodle. They're talking about 10 dimensions. What even is that? 10 dimensions. But you're invited, Wendy.
Wendy, where are you, babe? Invite me. All right. Okay. We'll talk when we talk about psychics and all that. I promise I won't go on about tarot. But yeah, don't get me started. It'd be good because Wendy's a good speaker. I've known her. Oh, well, how long have I known you, Wendy? 12 years? Probably about that. Yeah. She only lived down the road. Actually, I've had a little bit of a thought.
Actually,
we could actually do it together, and then in one, I'll come round to yours if you don't mind, and we'll do it.
Yeah, now you're going to wish you hadn't said anything, Wendy, aren't you?
I'm going to come round to yours, and we'll do a live stream, darling. How about that? All right. Yeah, we could do that actually. Going down the road. Have a think for next Sunday, or maybe the Sunday after. What do you think about the Kandahar giant? I don't know anything about the Kandahar giant.
I don't know if this is what you're talking about, Michael, but are you talking about the giant skeletons that are supposedly been found? These like 10-foot bipedal humanoids that have been all over the world. And I think that Kandahar is. You have to put me right on that if that's what I'm thinking of. But that is a thing, and I have looked into it, and apparently it's a big cover-up, like the crystal skulls that they've been finding as well. Yeah, it's impossible that they could fashion that out of one piece of crystal without it shattering. So so if that is a thing, put me right on that one, Michael. If that is it.
Time dilations, or we're coming back to subjects. Time dilation, really strong if you could orbit a black hole. God, it must be incredible.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, not even time and gravity can escape a black hole, not even light, you know. So the rules of physics, when you get near a black hole, all bets are off. Anything can happen, you know. So.
Sounds like a plan. I can handle him, Gaz. I know you can, darling. Okay, we'll talk during the week and we'll get a date. We'll do about psychics and psychic ability. Wendy's psychic.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
We'll do a live stream.
Gonna have to get Nath on the show as well.
Well, yeah.
He knows his onions by the sound of it, so we'll have to get him on. We'll have a just
if you let me guess know what you're Nath, if you let us know what you're really passionate about in this field, we'll do a show about it, because I'd really like to have you on the show. Really would. You know, like when we had Chris Conway on the other week. You know, fascinating talk. Well, we're not really interested in people who are that famous and all that. Some people I like to get on. But it just seems if people are intelligent and got something interesting to say, you know. Yeah. I was talking about military confrontation. You should take a look.
I'll have to. Sorry, mate. I thought you were talking about the big
I don't know what military conflict. What's that got to do with? I don't understand. Well, you're being a bit stupid here.
Look, well, just put in Kandahar Giant. We'll see what comes up.
Sorry, caving. Oh, right, okay.
That's the box that was found. There was a cave in Afghanistan. I thought it was Iraq, but maybe you're right, Afghanistan.
Maybe we're inside a black hole. If you keep digging this rabbit hole, it will become a black hole. Yeah. Witchcraft could be good. Well, witchcraft is more religion. Witchcraft is religion, isn't it? It's not really a spells and all that. I can't really get. I don't particularly get passionate about that kind of thing, but. That's mass religion. Much as I don't mind. I'm not knocking it. It's just not. But what do you say? Sorry, I missed you. Sorry, guys. What do you say?
I don't know. You crack me up. It's all right.
Witchy Wendy.
Witchcraft's cool, man. There's such a history behind it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, not the modern neo stuff by old Mr. Gardner, but
I think it's part of the paranormal umbrella.
Yeah. Okay. The soldiers at the time hushed it up. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know anything about this.
No, we're gonna have to look into that, mate.
Sorry, when you said witchcraft, my apologies. What I was thinking was the modern witchcraft, but I think all, you know, new age bookshops and all that kind of stuff, which I don't mind. I love them. But yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can go into the whole history of.
We need Ronald Hutton on the show. He knows all about witchcraft. Ronald Hutton, historian. Oi. All right, we'll do one on witchcraft. That'll interesting.
You're going to have to slap him when you see him now, Wendy. All right, have a word.
Be gentle,
darling.
Have
a word with yourself, Mark.
All right. I love science. The panel is just stuff that science hasn't explained yet. That's pretty much it, isn't it? That's pretty much it, Andy. Absolutely nailed it. My missus is all right, everyone. We'll do one on witchcraft. All right.
We are ridiculed, Andy. It's all like pseudoscience and a load of bunkum and a load of crap. But
yeah.
Stuff's happening to a lot of people. The same stuff is happening, whether you are seeing ghosts in your kitchen or whether you're experiencing strange craft in the sky or you're having near-death experiences. Science can't deny that this stuff is happening. Now, whether that is proof of life after death or proof of aliens or proof of heaven or hell.
Hello, lovely Julia.
We don't know. But the good thing is they don't bloody know either. So crack that.
No.
Yeah.
Witchcraft is very interesting. Right, we'll do witchcraft. Okay, yeah. If anyone's our real witches, we'd like to get them on. It'd be interesting too. Gravity was once
too easy there, mate.
Yeah. Gravity was once pseudoscience, yeah. As Carl Pilkington said when Ricky Gervais was saying about gravity. He goes, well, it wasn't really a problem when it was discovered, was it? He goes, what do you mean, Carl? He said, well, we weren't all floating about, were we?
Well, we still don't know what it is, mate, to be honest, do we?
No. And it's a fundamental force of the universe. Mark, paranormal covers a lot of subjects. I never knew that. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic there. L.A. Marzul, if I spelled it right, did an investigation on it, and also the Paracus skulls. Okay, I've heard of the Paracus skulls.
Michael, will you do me a favour? If you add me on Facebook, Gaz Brown, you can't mistake me, ugly git, this face, all right? Add me on Facebook, and if you can send me some info that I can research, because this is what we want you guys to do. I don't profess to know it all, neither does Mark, and I'd love to research new stuff. So if you can do that, send me a friend request, send me some info, and I'll look at it, and maybe we could do a show about that kind of stuff. It'd be brilliant.
Also, if you've got a webcam, what I was talking to Gaz about is we maybe can invite you on at some point. You know, have a certain point during the show. It's like usually a 2-hour show, isn't it? Invite people on at some point so we can talk about particular subjects, opposed to all typing all the time, and actually have a conversation. It's very hard to keep up with the comments sometimes.
Brilliant, Nathan. Thank you.
I've been called an old witch a few times, Julie. Thank you, Michael. But what's really interesting about you guys are so well informed. That's what I'm really impressed with this audience. They're so well informed.
They'll be doing their own show soon.
I've had problem, guys. I'll talk about anything. Okay, Nath, we'll get you on the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I'll drop you a message.
Yeah, we'll talk about the inner workings of the combustion engine, Nath. Okay, that's going to be the subject for that particular show. Why not?
Yeah. So we're NDEs.
Getting back to it, that was one hell of a tangent, weren't it, mate? Okay.
We've gone to science. With NDE, though, there's so many videos of interviews with people on YouTube. Check them out. Really, really interesting. And how similar, I think Gaz pointed out, how similar they are in the general theme of them. Everyone's experience will be different, but there's still that sort of, we had the light tunnel. We met beings. We met ourselves. We had our life behind it. I felt a sense of bliss. Really, really interesting. They're doing a great job with the comment section, Mark. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes it's really weird. StreamYard, I can't have someone to moderate it. Washing my hair.
So we're going to talk
I'm getting
about
a bit of feedback, Mr. Gaz.
You don't want to talk about combustion engines, so no, we'll come up with something. No, we'll talk about. I mean, he's pretty well informed. The page he's on is about the paranormal in general, UFOs, that kind of stuff. So, what's your pleasure? You know, we'll talk about what you like. And it sounds like you're pretty clued up on the quantum stuff. So, which I'm not. I'm aware of it.
I'm a little bit, but not to the level.
I've watched Professor Quantum and his double slit experiment. That's probably about
the double slit experiment. I still can't get my head around that. The double slit.
Just because something is observed, it acts differently. Yeah, that's all.
And not consciously observed. It could be just a film camera.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. I don't think I mean physically through your eyes, but it's his consciousness that is watching it. Your consciousness is observing it.
Behave like waves and all that sort of stuff.
And then waves behave like particles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I wish I'd listened more at school, to be honest. But
well, we didn't. I don't remember us ever touching quantum physics at school. We had
no. Back in the 40s when you was at school, Mark, they wouldn't have done
it. Oi. 80s. How does a particle know?
Self-aware particle. Bless you, my son.
So I've got half hour left. Any questions you want to come on? So even though if you want to come on the show, do let us know.
And we'll talk about what you want to talk about because it's your show. It's not ours. We're just two the idiots that are here.
No, it's our show.
It's your show.
It's our show. Do your own one. No, it's that way, isn't it?
That's that way. It's really confusing me. That way.
Well, I'm dying here. I don't want when I'm going here. Don't forget it's only got a few members, not really kicked off yet, but we have got the Z Planet Facebook group. Please come and join if I haven't sent you an invite. That's always good. Anything but the inner workings of the internal combustion engine. Earlier on.
Anything that starts with suck, squeeze, bang, blow, knife has got to be a subject worth talking about. Okay.
Yes.
I'm into it. Get into it. Get with the program, mate. We'll start with that, and then we'll go on to the other stuff. But the combustion engine definitely is a starter.
And what we'll start doing is, I was talking to Gaz about, is we'll start planning a little bit more. So we'll start it for August, right? So we know what we're going to be talking about each Sunday in August. Depending on work, because I'm now back at the theatre and we're opening with shows and everything. If I'm working on Sunday night, which if we are, we'll let you know. But Hopefully, I won't be because I do the rotors. It's all down to availability of that stuff. I do the rotors.
Yeah,
Right?
we'll have to.
You're working Sunday, you know.
We're going to get lots of guests, lots of different guests on, we hope, and we're going to try and do it from as many fields as we can, as many different fields as we can. And there's going to be some people that come on that we don't agree with what they're saying. Like if for instance, we get a flat earther on,
We wouldn't know, or would we?
The last one I interviewed, I had a row live on air with John Sayles, who does the Paranormality Files now, and Scott Morrow. We had a row live on air, and I'd already beat him up on the last show we did, but we got him back on for some more. To his credit, he came back on, and he lasted about half an hour, right? And I just pissed on everything that he said, you know, because we know it's crap. We know it is, and it's not.
Fact. Yeah, you're not dealing with an opinion. You're dealing. A 5-year-old could explain why the Earth isn't flat.
They've got an answer for everything, Mark. Absolutely everything. They got an answer, and it's infuriating. And I tried to remain professional, but I lasted about half an hour before I started calling him names. Right? I put my hands up. I did it, and I lost my temper. But
it's the same with the Flat Mars Society. Oh no, no Mars isn't flat, is it? Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? I don't watch many lives on Facebook, but these two guys are great. Not blowing trumpet, but keeping it real is what it's all about. Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. It means a lot, mate. It does mean a lot.
Buddy. That's really appreciate that.
And you, Michael, thanks for stopping by, mate. And thanks for your contributions, mate. They are invaluable.
Yeah,
it's amazing. A lot to look at. So do that. What I said. If you want to add me, please do, and I can look into it.
And now back to succubus. Now with all the suck, squeeze, and bang.
You forgot blow, mate. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow is yes. Don't, Rick. There's going to be akin to getting someone on that's into demons and all that. It's got the same thing.
If people come on and want to defend things like ghost boxes, demons, come on. But we will give you. We won't let you off lightly. We won't let you off lightly. I'm not going to get
you on and ask you what your favourite colour is. No, it's not going to happen.
No. So you know, if things like if you want to come on and say, "Well, I've experienced a demon," fine. Once again, going back to personal experiences. But why do you think that is a demon?
Yeah,
that sounds a religious terminology to me. I'm not saying people don't get attacked by spirits. You know, I'm not really. I don't really hear that many cases of it actually happening. But yeah, you know, tell us your story, and then we'll give you an opinion afterwards. Yeah, I've got some time off coming up, Wendy, so we'll do that because I really want to do that video as well. I had forgotten about it. A lot going on this year. Yeah,
Wendy,
okay.
That sounds so suspect. I've got to say, Mark will still have to do that video in the Impala.
It's a car. You know the car that's
in an Impala. That makes it even worse, mate. To do that,
it's a really nice car.
Do you know what I mean? Each to their own. I'm not judging. You know.
Maybe the demons made the Earth flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to come and play devil's advocate and argue things I don't actually believe, just for a laugh. Yeah, that would be funny. That would be funny.
Oh, definitely. Come on, man. We'd love to get you on, man, because you're kind of you're like a member of our team that we're waiting to add to our.
Well, we were doing a paranormal investigation on Saturday night, but we were worried about it raining. It didn't rain in the end, did it? So we're actually doing it Tuesday evening now with Kerry and Mandy. I'm looking forward to that. Our first Spiral Paranormal will invest in about 3 years. Yeah, that's gonna be good. There's enough room. Hey. You did bring it round to me, didn't you? You did bring that lovely vehicle round.
In a Chevy Impala, there's plenty of room.
Oh, it did. Right, I did. Bloody chucked it down there. All right. Yeah, we did. I was looking at things. Oh, it didn't rain now. Yeah, that's your neighbourhood. Hopefully, if we've got time, we'll take you to 2 locations if we can do it. You and Kerry, that'd be great.
I can't get there. If you're doing it, was it Tuesday?
Tuesday night, yeah, from 6 to about 9, probably.
gutted.
Oh,
my car
outside now. Wow, that's heavy.
My car has gone pop bang, so I'm on 2 wheels at the moment. And I'm not talking motorbike either; it's bloody push bike. So I've got to get a car sorted quick, smart, and get on some of these because we need to get back out there, don't we, mate?
I just want to. I mean, I've kept saying this. I really want to get Spiral going again. I think we've got some good people here. We've got the same team who are all very logical, all lovely, we all trust each other. And I'm just get really sort of disheartened with all the YouTube videos of, oh, this happened, that happened. We're spending the night in the most haunted thing, and this, and demons, and we got attacked and everything. Oh God! And I'd like to try Randonautica at some point, but that's something for another time.
Oh, what? Sorry,
Randonautica. I think I've mentioned it before. It's this app you download, and it gives you a random set of coordinates around your area, and you go there, and your intent. You put your intent into the phone. I've done it. No one knows how it works. It's absolutely, look into it. Randonautica. It's fascinating. And people have a lot of paranormal people use it, and they have really freaky experiences. Sometimes in America, they've actually had to call police out because there's people stalking people. It's very hard to explain. It's very, very weird. Very weird. What do you reckon regarding Hollow Earth and Admiral Richard Byrd's account? I don't know who Admiral Richard Byrd is. I don't think the Earth is hollow. No. If the Earth is hollow, we wouldn't have a magnetic field.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Rick. Admiral Richard Byrd was part of the fleet that went to Antarctica.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, dead body.
I believe, if memory serves. The Hollow Earth thing, I've heard it. I have looked into it, and I don't know, mate. I really don't know. It's I think the Earth, I've always been led to believe, and I'm willing to accept the fact that we have got the Earth is made up of an inner core, an outer core, a mantle, and a crust, and all this inner, like, massive spaces underneath the crust. All that sort of stuff. I don't know if I believe.
Well, we wouldn't. If we haven't got a core, we wouldn't have a magnetic field that protects us from the radiation from the sun. So once again, we wouldn't be here. No,
it's not something that's interested me. I can't say I've looked into it in depth, to be honest, Rick. But
Mandy,
it's not
nor
something
me.
that's interested me.
I think actually. Talking about Randonautica here. Sorry, I had 2 conversations going on. Yeah, Randonautica can be quite dangerous, I think. It's a bit of a rabbit hole. Yeah.
Literally, Rick. Yeah. It sounds a bit iffy, that, Mandy, doesn't it? I don't know if...
It's a lot of videos on. If you put Randonautica on YouTube, you see some of the videos. They are freaky. They are freaky. People, it's very bizarre. I haven't quite got my head around it, but we've got nothing to do with paranormal. But paranormal people do use it on investigations just to get scared for the sake of getting scared. Which is that's not researching, is it? They now believe that there is another ocean beneath the tectonic plates that could be deeper than the ones on the surface. Well, that could well be true. That's still near the surface, even on the tectonic plates. The core could be like little.
It could be. I mean, we don't know. We've actually. I mean, if you look at the Earth as a tomato, all right, it sounds.
Sorry, the way you said tomato.
A tomato. Sorry, did a tomato?
I love the way you said tomato.
Is it not a potato? A tomato. I do apologise. Reading, dear boy. Right. Okay. Look at the Earth as a tomato. The crust, the bit that we live on, is about the same thickness of the skin of a tomato, possibly even a little bit thinner. And we've only drilled down. I think the deepest hole is in Russia that we've ever drilled down, and it got too hot for the drill bit and started melting it. And that wasn't a massive depth, compared to the thickness of the crust. So the truth is, we really don't know. We get an idea of what's below the crust from volcanoes. It spews out molten rock, lava. So we think we are floating on a lake of lava that is between us and the inner core. Yes, we are on these plates, these tectonic plates that are moving and shifting. Some are destructive plate boundaries, like the one going under San Francisco and Tokyo.
San Andreas Fault, yeah.
Yeah. Others are constructive plate boundaries, like the one in the middle of the North Atlantic. where it's creating crust, moving up, pushing the continents apart. So we've kind of got a handle on what we think is underneath the crust, okay? And until I hear different, I don't know. The hollow earth thing is a theory. Now, it's a theory like any other theory. I haven't seen any research to back up that hypothesis, but there is also a theory that if it is hollow, aliens are living in it and that's how they're hiding from us, blah, blah, blah. It's a theory.
Well, I've got a bit of a rebuttal here. Oh, says more like the Campbell carrot. Dangerous words, bro. With now and I. Gravity attracts things. So how did the Earth form with a hollow center?
Yeah.
Gravity.
The densest stuff is in the middle.
Yeah. So that's why I don't really support that theory.
No, we got a liquid iron core, which is what's creating the magnetic field. All right, which protects us from the sun's harmful rays, blah, blah, blah. Mars hasn't got one. It blew off millions of years ago, which is why the atmosphere burnt off. So that iron core is what is keeping us here, basically, keeping our atmosphere intact and keeping us safe from the harmful effects of the sun. So, you know, with the hollow earth theory, it doesn't stand up when you look into how a planet is formed.
No.
You know, the heavy stuff is at the center, the denser stuff, and the heat that's created by that, you know, melts the rock, blah, blah, blah. And then you end up with this cooler crust, which is the bit we live on. Yeah. So which makes sense. The hollow earth doesn't really make sense to me anyway. So.
How often did they film Journey to the Center of the Earth? Are you telling me that wasn't a documentary? Are you talking about the original with Doug McClure from 1976? Classic movie. Oh,
God, he's such a film anorak. Oh, mate. Such an anorak when it comes to films.
Yeah, a geek. Yeah, so yeah, that's why I don't think hollow earth stands up at all. Because also, if someone hollowed it out after the... Say, I'm not even going to entertain it. It's like flat Earth. It's like flat Earth. We wouldn't have the magnetic field for starters because of the iron core, which is changing at the moment.
Oh, you froze, mate. Sorry.
Oh, God.
You did. You froze.
Oh, my God. I was about to ask about that too. What were you about to ask about, Mandy?
Journey to
the Oh, I beg your pardon. Beg your pardon. Oh, great mind think alike, yeah. all very smart people on this chat. So
no, to be honest, Rick, I'm open to theories like anybody else, but there are certain things that I've got the old. I kind of run home to mama. You know, I look at the old Gaz where his science background and how planets are formed and how the solar system was formed, and it doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't. It's exactly the same as the flat Earth thing. I can pass that off as a load of crap because it's a load of crap. You know, common sense tells us it's a load of crap. Every other planet in the solar system is a sphere. The sun is a sphere, and all the other planets we found around other solar systems are spheres.
Spheres.
So the Earth is a sphere. Okay.
I think the flat earthers is doing to wind people up. They've got to be doing just to wind people up.
It's attention.
They know it's bullshit. They just have to wind people up and have a laugh. Good luck to them. So anything else we want to cover before we go, guys? While we're here, we've had 20 watching at the moment.
We talk about anything.
Talk about anything.
If we don't know about it, we'll make it up.
Yeah, because we say we are no. Whenever you see things on a paranormal expert, they're not. If I ever got interviewed on TV and they put paranormal experts, I'd have to ask them to re-edit that to say paranormal. I don't know, but no one's an expert. Round Earth is just pseudoscience. The Earth is flat and has a whole center.
It's donut shaped. That's what it is.
And also, the theory that the moon, what formed the moon, was actually another planet colliding with the Earth back in the early years of our solar system. Why isn't that flattening as well? It's in the same orbit.
We look. The easiest way to tell that the Earth is a sphere is when you look at a eclipse.
Yeah, it's also square.
If you look at a lunar eclipse, you can see that the Earth goes across the surface of the moon and it's a sphere. If the Earth was flat, it would be a straight line down it. No matter which orientation it's at, you would see it as a straight line. The moon gets blocked out, the shadow of the Earth goes over the moon, and it's always round.
That one sentence from Gaz there has totally undermined the whole flat earthers. That one explanation.
Yeah.
One explanation just totally
blows me out.
And my one is always 2 words: gravity and motion.
It really upsets them. Really upsets them when you talk about that sort of stuff. So.
The moon is flat. I'm luckily pointing straight at us.
And it's made of Wensleydale Nath. Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit. So for lunch we'll carry on for the last 10 minutes. Carry on. Or should we want to?
We'll talk amongst ourselves, mate. I've just dropped my pen, which is really going to wind me up because it's my twiddly pen. I have to twiddle something, keep it clean. I'm gonna have to find my twiddler. Just give me
find your twiddler. It's getting a bit rude on here.
I've seriously lost my twiddler. 1 minute.
He's going to find your twiddler. Cheese Gromit. I've never seen Wallace and Gromit. I know of it, of course. I found it. It's all good.
That's it. Normality is back. I have my twiddler. Okay.
Oh, your twiddler, sir.
Yeah.
Do you like it, sir?
Tree, sir? Yes, sir.
I like your twiddler, sir.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what we've talked about tonight. A really fascinating subject, and I've got to say, I've never actually looked into it before. I've heard about it, obviously, but I've never actually looked into it. So the NDE side of it, it really is what it is. You know, I suppose unless you're going to experience it yourself, you're never going to actually know. But the fact that, that's something that I'm going to look into, Mark. The fact that the ones that we've looked into seem to be ones from a very westernized background. You know,
yes.
I'm going to try and look into it more from places that are a little bit more off the grid, you know, see if they have got reports of the same sort of thing. It's affecting my eyesight, Nath, I know that.
Like Wendy does. I think it's time Dominic made a comeback, by the way, Mark. No, not yet.
Dominic?
Still about my character in Ravenswood. No, not yet. Not yet. Maybe. We looked around in the eclipse because of our 4-world elephants and turtle. Because of the 4-world elephant and turtle. They can see him a lot of stardust, you see, or a 10 over. Nice one, Julia. Nice one. I love that. Good girl. The stars are different in the northern and southern hemispheres. If Earth was flat, they would be the same.
Absolutely.
See, I don't understand how it's logical. It's all logical. Yeah.
You can't win with them, mate. I threw it. There was a guy we had on the show called Mark Sargent, and he's a right trooper. He's been on with Russell Brand, who just spent half an hour taking the mickey out of him. It was hilarious. But we got Mark Sargent on, and we give him a fair shout. And I said to him, look, mate, there has been an experiment that is done. Now, I was a marine engineer, so I have seen ships go over the horizon, and you see the hull disappear, then you see the bridge disappear, and then you see any masts or aerials poking up last. The only way that would happen is if the Earth was curved. All right, if it was flat, you would see it disappear into infinity and eventually fall off the edge. But you don't. You see it disappear over the horizon. And they did an experiment where they shone a laser off the shore.
Laser.
They fired it at this boat, and they put a mark where this laser was. Then the boat went a little bit further on, and they put a mark. A bit further on, put a mark. And as they were moving away, the mark was getting higher and higher and higher, which proves that the Earth has got a curvature to it.
Yeah.
No matter what I said to this guy, he wouldn't have it. He had an answer for bloody everything.
Thank you, Andrew.
So,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Get him on at your peril, but they've got an answer. Do you know what I mean, mate? It's hard work. It really is.
Good night, Andrew. Yeah, are you an hour ahead of us in Croatia? I think you are, yeah. Thank you, mate.
Something like that, yeah.
Apparently, you're all that on how light works.
More than likely.
Yeah.
They got an answer for everything, Rick, mate, and it is infuriating. when you say that, well, we've got footage from the space station and the space shuttle and all these satellites and all that. Oh, they're all seen through fisheye lenses, which make the Earth look round. There's an answer for everything, mate. So
yeah, it just blows my mind. Yeah, a flat earther who made $10,000 bet that someone could fly between 3 places, turning 90 degrees and flying straight. He's now refusing to play.
Yeah.
1 hour indeed. Oh, it's a good guess. Good guess. Yeah. So so thank you very much, everyone. Been great fun. Thank you. Got some good people. I'm not saying this because you guys are in there, but your comments are so smart, really smart. You know, we're really, really privileged, really intelligent and thought out. You know, and everyone's got a really nice. I don't know whether you agree or not, but you've got intelligent points of view, and you explain why you think like that. It's really, really good. We're very, very impressed with that.
Yeah, we do rely quite a lot on your comments, guys. So the fact that you're getting involved in the show, it means a lot to us because that's what we wanted. That was what we actually planned from the start, you know. So like I say, it wasn't just our show, it's everybody's show. So that's what we're aiming for. It's really cool. Yeah. So keep it up. And as I always say, if you've got an idea for a show you want us to do, you want us to talk about, you know, just drop us a line on the Z Planet or drop Mark or myself a line. And we'll look into it. And if it's something you're into, we'll get you on with us and we'll all have a chat about it. So, please do.
And if you want to, if it's something you really know a lot about, well, we're very happy for you to lead it.
Yeah.
You know, we're just sort of come in and sort of have a conversation about it. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be just me and Gaz doing it. You know, if you know about something, bring it on. You might know about werewolves, you know, although they're fictional. Bring them on. Allegedly, yeah. That's a good word in paranormal, isn't it? Allegedly.
Oh, yeah, allegedly, yeah.
So, I think we can wish everyone good night. What do you reckon?
Yeah, why not?
I think we decided to get them on. I think Gaz, his blood vessels will blow up.
I can't do it, mate. Look, I need a few bottles of wine before I did. Like I say, the last time, I was so unprofessional, mate. I lost my temper with him because he wouldn't see sense. I had black and white empirical evidence that what he was saying was crap and he wouldn't have it. So you can't argue with idiots. You can't teach stupid. All right. So I gave up. Fine. So, yeah, I can't do it, mate. I'll talk about anything other than that. No, not doing it.
No, yeah. And I don't think gravity would work the way it does if it was flat. That's another thing.
It totally.
You need gravity. You need motion for gravity also to work.
Yeah. It's crap, mate, and I'm sure it's a wind up. It's got to be a wind up. It's that ridiculous. It's got to be a wind up. So.
Thanks, thank you, Julie. Thank you very much for joining us. Cheers, Ben.
We can go into the goat sucker a little bit more in depth, Nath, if you want to. We can do that.
The goat sucker, yeah. That's intriguing. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Pauline. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your message on YouTube earlier. Thank you very much. So anything else? Thank you from Gaz and I.
Yeah, you take care, guys, and we'll see you next week. We'll come up with a plan and we'll post it in the Z Planets. And if you want to research a bit more about it, we'll think of something we're going to talk about next week. What do you reckon, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. We'll have one for whole of August. That might change slightly, but we'll do one for the whole of August, so we know we can actually put a list down. Right, on this date we're doing this date we're doing that. So last 2 comments. Night, Mandy. See you Tuesday.
Night, Mandy.
Thank you very much, Nath.
Thanks, Nath.
Right, I've got to fly away. My broomstick needs announcing. Take care. Thank you, Julia. Thank you for joining us. Speak to you soon. Yeah. Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next Sunday at the usual time and the usual flannel.
Unusual flannel, next Sunday.
Why take it too seriously? Life's for enjoying, eh?
Absolutely.
We'll come up with something. We'll post it on the page, and hopefully you guys will get involved as you did this week. You're fantastic. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again really, really soon.
Thank you very much. I was going to do that. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.